Hey guys, it's Tom Shue here, and today I've got some really exciting news. And this news is that I've got a handful of passes for the Photoshop World Conference. It's on September 4th through the 6th at Mandalay Bay here in Las Vegas. This is about a $700 package, and there's a bonus. You'll get a free year of NAP subscription. That's a $100 value. So we're talking about an $800 package. The only thing you have to do is get yourself here if you win, okay? You have to have a place to stay, and I will give you this pass. Now, Photoshop World has all kinds of cool events. You know, they got a rock concert you can go to. I mean, it's just an endless list of events that these people do. But what it's about the training. It's about the training for Photoshop. It's about the training for Lightroom. It's about the training for lighting. It's the training for posing. It's light painting. I mean, they do everything. Every aspect of photography, it's all right here. This is the best photographic conference in the world. It gets better every year. I've been going there for about 4 years now, and I've met some of my best friends in the world there, okay? I'm going to go over a list of these guys here and what they mean to me and what I know about them, okay? Scott Kelby, he's kind of like the brainchild behind all this stuff. He's a really great author. You know, he's wrote a lot of books on teaching people how to use their camera, how to use Photoshop, how to use Lightroom. I mean, he writes books on anything to do with the photography industry, okay? Software and hardware. He also shoots the NFL, and he'll teach you how he goes out and makes these sports pictures. Okay, and I mean, his portfolio is pretty beautiful. He also teaches on Kelby training. He'll teach you how to do portrait works. He'll teach you how to do stuff with low budget gear and high end gear. He's really a great guy, from all the way from capture through retouch. He'll teach you everything you need to know to be a world class photographer. Really, if you follow what he says, you'll do you'll create world class work. And he's not even considered one of the working pros there, right? Matt Koskowski is his right hand man. He's a Lightroom guy. He's a great photographer in his own right, but he's known for Lightroom. He has a tour that he goes and he teaches people Lightroom, and he's got a blog called Lightroom Killer Tips. If you've never heard of it, you need to crawl out from underneath the log you've been under and go to Lightroom Killer Tips, and you'll learn everything you ever wanted to know about working with Lightroom. Joe McNally. Wow. Joe McNally is one of the best photographers that I've ever seen. Okay? He's a living legend, right? He can do things with speed lights or I mean, this guy will work with any kind of light source in any kind of camera and solve any kind of problem. You know, he shot for National Geographic. He's been on top of the Empire State Building. He's been up the tallest building in Dubai. He's not a very young man anymore. Like when you look at his video of the Empire State Building, he was young go-getter, it seemed. Now he's older and he's still going and getting it. This man's a phenom. Okay, he is the man. If you've never seen Joe McNally, you never met Joe McNally, you really should do yourself a favor and do so. Ben Wilmore, he's a world-class Photoshop guy. He'll teach you everything you want to know about Photoshop. He's taught hundreds of thousands of people around the world about Photoshop, right? Dave Black. This guy, he is also a phenomenal photographer. He makes the kind of pictures you just wish you could make, right? He shot all the Olympics. This guy will go out to a racetrack and shoot sports. He'll shoot. Oh, I watched him shoot a motocross guy with like 8 speed lights stuck together inside of a softbox doing high-speed sync. I mean, this guy will shoot anything, anywhere. Surfers out in the ocean. Google Dave Black and find out what you think. But he is an awesome light painter. He'll take a flashlight and go paint a forest and make a beautiful photograph at night. Okay, this guy will really teach you something. Moose Peterson, he's a wildlife guy, but he's big into aviation. His passion is aviation. If you show up at Photoshop World a couple days earlier and you pay for a pre-conference, you might want to go to Moose Peterson. He'll probably drag you down to Nellis Air Force Base or something like that, and you'll make some great photographs of airplanes if you're into that kind of stuff. Joel Grimes. I'm sorry if I'm going too long on this guy. Each one of these people have a place in my heart, and I've learned something from all of them, okay? So stick with me here, and I'll tell you about these people. So Joel Grimes, he kind of learned on his own, right? He didn't do things traditionally. He practiced a bunch with film back in the day, but when he went digital, he was able to tweak his style, and it's that edgy sports look where he takes a box from each side of the model's face and chisels them. Okay, it's a special technique that Joel Grimes kind of put together that a lot of people try to imitate, but Joel Grimes will teach you how to make photographs and then composite them like nobody else. Jay Mazzell. This guy here is one of the coolest people that I've ever met in my life, okay? He goes way back with Dean Collins and before, okay? He's been doing this stuff for decades. He's in New York now, and he's got his own group of students that he teaches. I'll just put it to you this way. If you miss his class, you're missing out on one of the opportunities of a lifetime because he's all about three things: light, color, and gesture. That's all I'm going to say. Burt Monroy. Okay, they have this thing called the Photoshop Hall of Fame. Let's put it this way: he's been around forever. He knows everyone, and he's in the Photoshop Hall of Fame. RC. What can you say about RC? He's kind of like the glue that holds a lot of the projects going on at NAP together. He's one of the original Photoshop guys, along with Dave Cross. He's a Photoshop guy, right? He teaches people. I think he branched out on his own. He's no longer a part of Kelby Training or NAP like he used to be. However, he's still a kick butt Photoshop guy, and you can learn a lot from him. David Zeiser, he's a wedding guy, right? He will teach you how to do things with speed lights, bounce them, how to get yourself in the right position to get the right shot, how to work with the assistant, how to pose your model, how to light your model. He's a wedding guy. Frank Dorhorf, he's my friend. He's a great fashion photographer. He'll shoot anything from a speed light through medium format and the best HMI lighting you can get. Alan, I've never worked with him before. I'm into 3D motion graphics, and I assume that he does character animation, that he's into 3D motion graphics. Alan Hess, he's a really great concert photographer. Google him and look at his portfolio. It's pretty amazing. Bill Fortin, he's an outdoor landscape photographer. I know he works for Nikon, and I know it's just not Nikon brand, but he's known as the Nikon guy. I always see him in the Nikon booths. He's a great guy. Go up and shake his hand. He'll be the nicest person you've ever met. Brian Smith. Google his portfolio and look at the lineup of people that he has taken photographs of. He makes pictures of people that I wish I could just meet, right? He's had opportunities because of his work to get close to some of the coolest people on the planet. Bruce Dorn, Photoshop Explorer of Light. This guy goes on African safari. He goes to South America. He goes to Alaska. This guy tests all of the cool gear from Canon, and he's got these greatest tips. One of the tips he gave me was, instead of bringing these big tripods on these safaris, he'll take a little Ziploc bag and a little cloth bag, and he'll fill it full of rice or beans or whatever he can get, and he uses that as a beanbag tripod. And then when he's done, he dumps it on the ground and feeds the birds and leaves. I mean, this guy's got all these kind of tips. He'll teach you what's going on. Brian Hughes, he's a product manager for Photoshop. Cliff, I know he's a wedding guy. He can teach you everything that you want to know. You want to learn about copyright? Ed Greenberg will teach you how to protect your images. He did for me. Corey Barker, he's one of the NAP guys, been around forever. He's a big Photoshop guy. He's a big 3D guy. Anything new that comes out in Photoshop that's tough to tackle, Corey will get it done for you. Eddie Tapp, another explorer of light for Canon. Incredible techniques in Photoshop. He's been around forever. Eric Beelan, he's one of the newer up-and-coming guys. He's been around for probably about 5 years. I know he works for Westcott. He's a great commercial photographer. I've seen a lot of his stuff, and he's a really good kid. He knows what he's doing. Glenn Dewis. This guy is a Photoshop genius, right? He does all these wonderful caricatures. He does wonderful photography. It's exciting to watch his work, and I'd like to see him. Now, Helene Glassman and Jim DiVitale, their husband and wife. Shh. Anyways, Helene, she's such a sweet person. Both these guys are my friend. I met him a few years back at Photoshop World. Jim, he's a commercial photographer. He shoots for Nike and Puma. I mean, just the list of people he shoots for catalog work and just anything that needs to be done, Jim does. But Helene, she's like the posing guru. If you want to learn how to pose a group of people and make them look their best, you go to Helene's class, and she'll teach you about that. Jack Rosnicki, he's going to work with Mr. Ed Greenberg, I'm sure he's going to teach you about copyright, but I've worked with him before in the past on stage at Westcott, and he's a great photographer in his own. Joe Glida. I mean, this just goes on and on. Julianne Koss. Have you ever seen a Julianne Koss tutorial? She is so easy to learn from. Her voice is perfect, right? She knows the material, but the way she delivers it, it's just easy to absorb. I'll watch every bit of Julianne Koss video that I can watch. I watch it from B&H. I watch it from Adobe TV. I watch it at the booths at the trade show floors. Anytime she's speaking, I make it a point to go there. She's smart and I always learn something from her. Kevin Ames, he's a commercial photographer. Google his work. And Larry Becker. I mean, this list just goes on and on. Richard Harrington, video guy. Scott Bourne. You want to learn how to grow your following for Twitter? Follow Scott. He'll teach you how to do that. Tamara Lackey, Terry White, Russell Brown. Here's a secret. You want some cool stuff? Russell gives out the coolest stuff of anyone at Photoshop World, right? I think I've got a Nap dog chain USB drive and a fold-out Russell Brown thumb drive from him. He's a great guy. I mean, this list just keeps Vincent Versace. Are you serious? This guy is incredible. He's real meticulous of how he does things, right? But at the end of the day, his results speak for themselves. If you're real detail oriented, go to his stuff because he's going to teach you some things. Watch his video for Enduro, how he sets up a tripod and how he talks about a tripod. It's pretty amazing. Terry White. I mean, this list of people is unlike anyone else. I know I've missed some people here. Pete Collins, he's new. Not new, but he's been there for a few years now. But he's a great guy too. This Scott Kelby has done a great job assembling this lineup of people, and I hope to share this with you. I know this is a 13-minute video, and I'm sorry about that, guys, but do yourself a favor, research who these people are, follow the instructions on the blog, and I hope you guys win. I hope to meet you here in Las Vegas. I want to thank you all for taking time to visit today, and until next time, we'll see you soon.